hurt some people's feelings. So if you a little sensitive, you might as well turn this joint off right now. Okay? How you afraid to drop it down?
What's up, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of Real Talk with Rebel. I'm back here with Carissa, and we've got a super exciting episode for y'all today. We're going to be talking a lot about whether you should be doing cardio and weightlifting. The reason why you should be doing both.
Love it.
Yeah.
That intro.
There we go.
Can we just take a moment to talk about how far we've come? There's your outtake, Josh. The first intro where I was over here like adjusting my shirt or something when I should have been talking. And that intro, we've come a long way. I'm excited. I'm excited about this episode today. I love that title. I think it's perfect because most people come in thinking it's got to be one or the other. And surprise, it's both. And we're going to tell you why today.
Yeah. So we're just going to kind of go into some detail and break down the main benefits of both cardio and weightlifting, where they have some overlap, what does, different things better, what, only one of them does, and kind of what that balance is going to look like for you based off your goals, your injury history, all these different things. So we're just going to start out with cardio because that's the biggest, the trendiest thing. Everyone's always talking about, well, more cardio, more cardio. The more you run, the more you walk, the more weight you're going to lose, the skinnier you're going to be. And how true is all of that? So cardio is extremely helpful in a lot of ways. And one of those can be with burning calories to help with weight loss or fat loss management. But it has way more benefits than just that. One of the biggest things is going to be your heart health and your circulation. So if you have any, prior existing history with heart conditions, you have a family history of, heart disease, hypertension, heart attacks, anything like that, making sure that you have a cardio regimen is going to be extremely important. That's going to mitigate any extra risk that you can have, as well as just strengthening the heart as well as it pumps, the way it flows, the way it gets the blood through your body. So all you want to do is do more cardio for your heart health, right? Less cardio if you're recommended that by a physician, but on average, more cardio is going to be better for your heart. The next thing that it also helps with is your lung capacity, right? So if you have asthma, anything like that, obviously you have to be a little bit more careful with your cardio. But anytime you're doing cardio, you're putting yourself in a higher heart rate. You're going intensely, at least zone 2, zone 3. We'll kind of talk about those things as well today. You're going to be putting your body in a position to adapt. The harder you work, the more your body has to adapt to become used to doing those things, right? So that's a big thing with both cardio and weightlifting is putting your body in a situation to adapt. A big thing that I see with cardio is just continuing to do the same level of cardio for too long. So it's the same as weightlifting in the sense that you do have to progressively overload. And by that just means either increasing the weight in which you're doing your cardio with, the duration, the incline, the intensity in many ways can be changed, but you can't walk the same 2 miles at the same pace with the same incline forever and expect to still see results, just like you can't expect to lift the same 5 or 10 pound dumbbells over and over and over again and continue to build muscle.
Absolutely. And something that I think we see a lot in regards to that is people coming in, and again, this is where the influencer thing will happen, is people come in and they're like, well, I'm doing what I saw on Instagram, which, I'm trying to think of some recent ones we've seen, but what was that one that was so popular? Long, steady state was a big thing for a while, but then it became that,
the incline. Right? Yeah, so
it was like the
30 minutes at 3.5 miles per hour at a 6% incline is perfect. Perfect cardio,
and
right?
People would come in with that number off the bat and be like, this is what I'm doing. And this is,
So
and
I
it's
heard 30 minutes a day at a 6% incline at 3.5 miles per hour will make me skinny.
Yes. So that's what they were all doing. And so, and now it's the weighted vest, right?
Now it's the weighted vest.
Which we can talk about here in a second too.
The ankle weights and the wrist weights.
Oh my gosh. Which again, there are some benefits to that, you guys. Like there is some truth to that. And we've talked about this on the podcast before, but most health and fitness things start from a really good place, but then it just gets taken and it gets, it just gets just absolutely mangled in the process of somebody trying to monetize it, somebody trying to weaponize it, somebody trying to use it for something they shouldn't be using it for. And so that is the thing that you've got to keep in mind in those things. Like I love what you said about it's got to be progressive. It's got to, and again, there's not a lot of truth either to that whole, there is some truth, but not as much as people want you to think of your body like adapting too much to something, right?
Yeah.
Like in the form that if you run for too long, or like people will come in and say all the time, like my exercise routine, my body's gotten used to it, so I have to change it up. And again, there's some nuanced truth to that, but not in the way people think. What people are really saying when they come in and say that is like, I'm not getting skinnier anymore. I'm not losing weight anymore. So my body's adapted. So now I got to change it up. And that's why a lot of people come in and look at boxing.
Yeah.
Because it's like this thing that's on the
next
total
step of intensity.
Other spectrum, side of the spectrum that they never tried before. So they're like, I've been ultra marathoning it and I've been whatever it. So now I got to do boxing because my body doesn't know what that is. And it's going to shock it back into losing weight again, which is crazy. So keeping in mind that most of those things, if you're getting it from some type of influencer or you've gotten it from online, like doing those things like into the ground every single day, eventually is going to wear thin in a bunch of different ways. But keeping in mind, again, that those things that are trendy, they're just trendy. And so we're going to talk again about like, the things that we recommend and again, the zone 2 and 1 and different things like that are really helpful to know. And then you can, again, discern and figure out what works best for you. But being very aware of that type of stuff is very helpful too.
Absolutely. And there's a ton of other health benefits. It's not just heart and lung function. It's been shown to help with things like diabetes, different just pain and soreness. If you have hip pain, knee pain, ankle pain, of course, go see a medical professional. But for a lot of people, just more movement, a 30-minute walk a day would help so much with your knee pain, your back pain, all these things, because you just need the circulation. You just need to get your muscles moving, right? So just using it as a tool as well to help you sleep better, right? It's got mental health benefits. It's been shown that a 10 to 30-minute walk can improve mood substantially, right?
Exponentially.
Whether it's a beautiful day or a more dreary day, moving your body just helps. It releases endorphins, the blood flow. You're not sitting down, getting tired as you're sitting there, right? It doesn't have to be a full hour, 2-hour workout. Sometimes a 15-minute walk can flip your day on its head and just give you what you need to keep pushing through.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's one of the main reasons that I love boxing. That's how I found boxing, was the mental health benefits. I loved it. It was fun. But, boxing is many times cheaper than therapy, but you should still go to therapy. But it's definitely cheaper than bail. I know that. So don't ask me how I know that, but I do. So boxing is the way to go on stuff like that. But even running, like I went through my running phase back, first pregnancy and then into the, right before I got pregnant with Sophie. Running was a big thing for me, but it was a huge stress reliever. I loved that runner's high. I would be able to tell by the end of the day, I have not run. I can tell, I need to go do that. And then seasons change and I wasn't able to run like I wanted to anymore. But then that's when I found boxing. And so boxing was able to really help me with that too. But the mental health benefits are real. Yeah. And, to what you were saying too about joint pain and movement and circulation and stuff like that, lymph movement is a huge part of exercise in general. And again, you're going to get this cardio or weights. So this kind of goes blankets over both of them. But if you're not aware of what your lymph system is, it's a very important part of your body because it's essentially your waste system. So you think about taking the trash out in your home or putting it in the disposal and running it and it pushing it through your house. Your lymph system is really important to move all those things out. So if you're taking in environmental toxins and you're taking in heavy metals and you're taking in, just regular stress and different things like that, which we all are, your body has to be able to take that stuff and push it out of your system. And that's through your lymph, it's through your kidneys, it's through your liver, like all those things. But if your lymph system starts shutting down, which a lot of ours are, then that starts backing things up. You think about a clogged up like drain disposal, for lack of a better analogy. And then it doesn't matter if that thing's packed up with a bunch of crap, it doesn't matter how many good things you put on top of it, it's never going to work. Like it's never going to work the way it needs to. So you've got to make sure that system is moving. And the number one way to move your lymph is to move your ass. Okay? Clip that.
Move your ass.
So
by Carissa.
Important.
Yeah.
Okay.
That could be your first podcast t-shirt.
There we go.
Move your ass.
Move your
dash
ass.
Carissa.
Move
with
your
a heart.
lymph.
With a heart on it. Just like flush the toilet.
There you go. My sign at the gym.
Yeah.
I haven't passed that season of my life, guys, where things are sweet. Like I might put a little winky face behind it, but it's going to be flush the fucking toilet.
Yeah. Now,
okay?
one of my
I'm not gonna ask you nicely.
7-year-old clients came out and was like, why does the toilet say flush the freaking toilet? And I was like, because y'all don't flush the freaking toilet, my man.
Because
And
I've
he was
got
like, okay.
grown people who don't remember to flush the toilet. Make it make sense.
The toilet says freaking on it. And I was like, it does. It does.
I was nice with that one. I didn't put the real thing I wanted to put, so.
Yeah, but anyway. No, the mental health benefits are insane. Like you're saying, whether it's to go and get that runner's high or you're down in the dumps and just need to go clear your head, right?
Yep.
Like it just can make such a big difference. And then also the confidence and the discipline, right? Like these also come from weightlifting, but the confidence of, okay, I'm just going to go out and run. I don't care who's looking at me. I don't care my pace. I don't care, but you're just going to run because you feel like running. That takes confidence, right? That takes being secure in yourself and knowing that you're doing something because you want to and because it's good for you, not because of how you look or because of how other people are perceiving you, right?
Yeah. Absolutely.
And that's a big deal.
Yeah.
And then the discipline that comes around with just not stopping, right? When you're doing cardio, there's a difference in cardio and weights, whereas weights, you're expected to work hard for 20 seconds to a minute, maybe minute and a half, and then you get a break, right?
Yeah.
Cardio, you could be going straight for 30 minutes, an hour and a half, and you don't have to do that.
Yeah.
You need to build up to those numbers, but doing anything for an hour straight besides work, not many people really do that anymore, right? Like just sitting down, I'm going to sit and look at this puzzle, look at this book, whatever it is, not check my phone, not change something else, not respond to a text, go, care about a child. Like this is me for the next hour and a half. And it's just this, right? Like that's something that Harrison does that I find impressive. Like when it's like, I went on like a 4-hour run. I'm like, good for you, brother. I would have been bored.
Out, Harrison.
I would have been bored at that point, right? Like I can go do 45 minutes of cardio, sometimes an hour 15 of cardio. But at that point, I've gotten what I want out of it. And to me, I'm just bored.
Yeah.
Some people want to run the ultra marathon. Some people like to run 10, 20, 30, 50 miles, right? Like that can be your thing. But whatever that level of discipline is to you, like if I want to stop at 30 minutes and go for an hour, that's discipline. If you want to stop at mile 5 and go to mile 8, that's discipline, right? It's just not stopping when you wanted to stop.
Yeah. And I think finding that happy medium of really assessing, like, number one, what are you doing cardio for? Because I'm thinking about, the majority of people hate cardio, right? That is the joke always. It's every meme that's out there. It's every t-shirt that's out there. We hate cardio. Cardio is hardio, like all the things. We would rather do something else. So trying to find the thing with cardio that you do enjoy. So it's like, again, I didn't love the start of the run when I was going running. That was the hardest part for me. I made sure I had a really banging running playlist. And so the beginning of the run was always where I put my best music. So it was like, okay, that would get me through. Then once I got going, then I was motivated by the feeling itself. But you really assessing like how, like, what are you doing the cardio for? Where are you starting at? Knowing that you're not starting if that's something that you want to take up. Like, I want to take up running because I feel like that would be something that would be good for me. I'm stressed out. I need time alone. I get my best ideas when I'm moving my body or whatever. But if the thought of running makes you want to jump off of a bridge, then don't start with that. Like, don't do that. Again, we're always here to preach what is going to get you sustainability? Like, what is going to get you doing something that you're going to want to continue to do? And if you look at the range of things, God bless, if you look at the range of things that you can do that are dubbed cardio, and running is like the most horrifying thing in the world to you, and you pick that,
that's your fault.
Stop.
That's
and again,
on you.
But that's what that's what our culture wants us to do, right? Is like pick the thing because that's going to show you, and that's going to be the thing. And again, that's going to be the thing that gets you the skinniest, the fastest, is was always running. But we're here to tell you, like, don't do that. Look at the spectrum and say, okay, I can start with pickleball. I can start with a walk.
Right.
I can start with like whatever the situation is.
And you can also base your cardio around, one, your enjoyment, like Carissa is saying, and then two, around real life goals. Like, personally, I really like hiking and I really like fishing. So incline walks and rowing make sense for me to be better when I'm in the mountains or better when I'm on a kayak, right? Or if I really need to get better at push-ups, then I might do something that's almost like an upper body cardio workout. I might do a bunch of ball slams, a bunch of battle ropes, a bunch of up downs, right? So cardio can be upper body, it can be lower body, it can, be core cardio, right? Like, it's not, your cardio is just improving the endurance and your heart health and your lung function, right? There's all these different things that are, well, you have to do cardio to get skinny, but is it doing those things for you? Are you becoming healthier? Is your heart becoming healthier? Are you getting better at breathing? And are you getting better at something that you want to do? Then that's fine, right? If you really want to get better at basketball, dribble up and down your street, right? If you really want to get better at biking, just go for a bike ride or go ride the stationary bike at the gym for 45 minutes and crank it up so you're not sitting back on the old lady setting and relaxed, right? But sit forward, use the one that has the arm handles. You can find something that you enjoy, that brings you joy, that brings you closer to a goal that you have, and it still be cardio.
100%. And sometimes it may be like the joy may truly come afterwards. That's real too, like sometimes, again, with the running for me, and even sometimes with boxing. I start a class and I'm like, ugh, like, let's go. You can do this. And I know I'm wrapping my hands and I know the initial is going to be tough. That warm up's going to be tough. I don't want to do it. But the second I throw that first punch, done. I love it. I'm in. I'm locked in for 45 minutes. Like, I'm not going to think about it again. I absolutely love it. Same thing with running. Like, once I get past that initial, then I'm absolutely loving it. I want to keep doing it. So the joy sometimes for this stuff comes afterwards. So sometimes you do need to push yourself outside of your comfort zone a little bit and just try something. Again, my reason for saying this is always like for boxing, because a lot of people will be like, oh no, like, oh, that doesn't look like that's for me. And sometimes it's not, but trying something different, trying rowing if you've never done that, trying to jog every once in a while if you've never done that, if you feel like a lot of times when I was walking, I would feel it. Like, I want to sprint right now. And it's the weirdest feeling. You can't describe it, but you just sprint. Or like, I want to go try boxing, or I want to try Zumba. You know what I mean? Like, I'm a huge Zumba fan. Like, those classes, you are going in, like, they go hard.
They do.
But you're dancing and you're having a blast, but you 100% are feeling like, you kind of want to be, when you're gauging like these zones and stuff like that, you kind of want to be like, I'm breathing hard. I can still kind of have a conversation, but not easily type B is where we're going for like that zone 2.
Because we can just kind of talk about the zones in a very, basic way. So it's different based off your age, your background, but it's just a certain range of heart rate that you want to be in zone 1, 2, 3, 4. But it's essentially like Carissa saying, zone 1 is leisurely walk. You're walking with your husband, your grandma, your auntie, and you can talk and it's fine. Maybe y'all are drinking water, drinking coffee while you're walking, just very low intensity. Zone 2, you're probably walking on the treadmill. If you're talking to somebody, you've got that that gasp in between, right? Like you're breathing heavy, but you can still talk to somebody. Zone 3, that's probably like the warm up before your sporting event, or you're on a hike, you're not running, you're not way out of breath, but you don't really feel like talking. You feel like breathing and focusing on what you're doing, right?
Much less to say in zone 3.
And then zone 4 is that like you might kind of hear your heart beating in your ears. You might kind of like feel your pulse in your neck, whatever it is. But that's the I'm preparing for cardio for competition type of, zone. So there's benefits to all the zones. Zone 1 is great to start in. Zone 4 isn't really necessary unless you're a competing athlete. Zone 2 is pretty much that magic space for most people working into Zone 3. So starting at high Zone 1 into Zone 2, getting into Zone 2 where you're challenging yourself, but you could still talk to your friend. It'd be a challenge. You'd have to stop for a break, whatever it is. But if you're on the treadmill consistently dying, you're sweating all the time, you're like, you could just take it back a notch, right? Work up to where you're not necessarily dying on the treadmill, because you don't have to be dying to be reaping benefits from something. That
part. Yeah. And I think that's the most important part of this, is because when you were just talking about that, it reminded me of when I took over the gym and we were a franchise. The big thing that we were always taught to talk about was HIIT training, right? High intensity interval training. And that was, again, just another very significant trend.
And that'll keep you in Zone 3, pushing Zone 4 for a lot of the time.
And then bring you down the tiny,
like you are getting the craziest workout ever. Because for the entire hour, you just, you hear your heart, you feel it. It's,
And the big push then was, so you're going up to zone like 4-ish, and then you're coming down, and then you're going back up to it, and then you're coming down and going back up to it. And our boxing classes are still similar to that, but we've brought them down considerably, because like the big thing then was like, literally, we're running people into the ground.
How many calories can they burn? What does their Apple Watch say after class? I mean, is it 700? How is that even possible?
That was part of the marketing. It was like, you can burn 900 calories per class. Like, what? I look back on that stuff
minutes?
and it's, talk about cringe. It is the cringiest stuff ever, and it makes me absolutely crazy. But that's how it was marketed. Like, that's how we were supposed to market it, is where it's high intensity interval training. So you're going to be going Zone 4, back down 2 or 3, Zone 4, back down 2 or 3. And you're going to do that 7, 8, 9, depending on how many, how long the class was. You're going to do that. And then the whole thing after that is, because of that type of training, you're going to burn calories
the rest of the day.
Like the next hour, you're going to burn another 300 calories. So just from coming to box at our class, you're going to automatically burn 1,000 calories a day. Well, of course, you're going to bring in the most disordered and the most, oh my gosh, are you serious? Like, I'm 100% doing that. And that was the main reason.
So I could burn 1,500 in a trash bag?
Exactly. Add the trash bag, add the heat, add the sweatsuit. Like, let's do it all. Why not burn? Let's make it Biggest Loser, right? Let's just burn 3,000 calories in 2 hours and call it a day. So, but that was the whole point of that was the big trend then. And now there's a lot of, that even HIIT training is under big time skepticism on what the benefits actually are, and what the long-term benefits, and I mean long-term, like long-term in life, but also for the day, actually are. And is it really burning that many extra calories and all that kind of stuff? So the whole point of this is picking something and knowing that, like Shemar said, you don't have to go ham on this to get the benefits. And it doesn't have to be some crazy made up shitfluencer thing that you get on board with, and you're doing thinking again that, and please, you guys, the Apple Watches are crap. Like the amount of calories, number one, if you can't work out without turning this on, I hate to tell you this.
Disordered.
That's disordered. Okay. We're going to check that box on our little diagnosis sheet. Okay. So you can work out without this. In fact, if you are in a recovery process or looking to start kind of healing from some of that stuff, this is the first thing I would get rid of. Take it off when you go to the gym and start getting out of that. You don't have to close the rings, believe it or not. You don't have to know how many calories you pretend burned in class because this thing is so off. The workout still matters. Still counts, even if your watch wasn't on, okay? And I know that's the big joke that it doesn't count, but that is truly a disordered mindset, okay? So free yourself from that. But you don't have to go crazy on this stuff to reap the benefits at all. And that's the beauty of what we teach, and the sustainability is, you choosing something and going at this pace instead of like this constantly, you're consistently going to trend up with what we're telling you and the sustainability path.
Looking at it holistically in a sense of, okay, my physical health is going up, but if my mental health or quality of life is going down, this is not the right thing. Like, I started running and I'm losing weight, but my body hurts. And I come home every day from work and I'm just like, oh, I have to go on the run.
Yeah.
Right.
And I can't sleep because my shins hurt and my arches hurt and my knees hurt.
Then that's not the right decision. But if you start going to the gym in the morning, at night, if you start playing pickleball 3 times a week, whatever it is, and you're all of a sudden, wow, I'm a happier person. I feel better. I feel like I have more energy throughout the day. Then you're doing something right. Then pickleball 3 times a week for you might be what you need right now. If you stop feeling that way, play pickleball 4 times a week, or play pickleball twice a week and hit the gym twice a week, whatever it is. But increase when you have to increase. If you start at 1,000%, 1, you're going to burn out. And 2, how do you set up goals to get any better?
Amen. Clip that.
There we go. But yeah, so that's most of the cardio benefits. Like we said, there's some crossover, but we're going to move into the weightlifting benefits. So the main thing that you're going to get from weightlifting more than cardio is the increase in strength, muscle mass, and bone density. So with cardio, if you're doing more weight-bearing cardio, box jumps, jump ropes, anything like that, you will get some improvement in your bone density. If you're running, the pounding is going to increase your bone density, but nothing increases bone density like weightlifting does. You're putting your muscles, your bones, all of these things under stress, not an abundance of stress, but enough stress to continue to have to ask your body to adapt, to grow muscle, to become denser, to become more resilient. And that's not something you're going to get from cardio. That's why our momentum program is such a big deal at our gym. We had just boxing and some, additional personal training here and there, but there wasn't truly progressive overload specific classes for people to come in, get stronger, and meet their goals. We had weightlifting classes that were more circuit oriented, or you could come in on like Tuesday for more of a leg day, Thursday for more of an upper body day, but never did we have a class that was, hey, this is your program for you to build the muscles that you need to reach the goals that you want to achieve. And that's why it's been so huge to have the momentum program.
Absolutely. Yeah. And especially for women in this situation, because the majority of women who come in to see us are not like, I want to lift weights. We have to, have that convo and talk them into it. Or they're like, I already lift weights. And I'm like, tell me about that. And it's like, the 8-pound dumbbells at home, which please do not get me wrong. I'm glad you're lifting. I'm glad you're doing that. That is good. However, it is not a progressive overload situation, which is what is going to get you where you want to be. The reality is, speaking for women, is that lifting weights is that toning, right? That's the majority of women come in there and I want to tone. So previously, our thinking, and again, we've been very trained to think like this, is men lift weights to get ripped and big and strong. Women, we don't want to get ripped and big and strong. So our only way to tone is to lose so much weight that everything that's in between our bones and our skin
sinks in,
shows better. And so you got to lose as much body fat, because you're going to have muscles regardless. There are muscles on every single person. But the more fat that you lose, and your skin just goes to sit on top of that muscle eventually because you are so thin, you're going to look toned. And that's what a lot of women are kind of chasing, is this idea of like, well, she, looks very toned. It's like, no, she's starving.
So then how do you explain that to women in a sense to make them understand that growing muscle can give them that same benefit.
Yes. And so a lot of times what I will say is like this analogy, which a lot of times the boys think is funny, but it speaks to us, is the idea of like every woman in America knows what Spanx are, right? Every single one. I don't care who you are. And believe it or not, like the teeniest, tiniest women on this planet are wearing the most Spanx. But it's because there is this firming situation that happens, right? It's like the silhouette. It's the, God dang it, it's the Coke bottle situation. I'm hitting the mic for those of you who are not watching. I am hitting the mic.
Only.
It is asterisk. Carissa hits the mic for the 80th time because I am with my hands.
Yeah, she's not cussing at me, y'all, I promise.
I am trying to do the motion of the Coke bottle, okay? So that is what women at the end of the day want, is that Coke bottle, and that's what a Spanx, will give you. That is what lifting weights will do. Because you think about it and you come in and you're like, okay, I'm 200 pounds and I come into the gym, and immediately they'll come in and say, I want to lose weight. I want to lose 20 pounds, 30 pounds. So first of all, I'm like, who the hell told you that? But second of all, no problem. We can help you lose 30 pounds. Again, I've run challenge groups. I can help you lose 20 pounds in 6 weeks with my eyes closed and my hands tied behind my back. But guess what? You're going to go from this size. And again, if you can't see me, I am showing like a rectangle shape. And then you're just going to shrink to a smaller rectangle.
Yep.
And you're going to be skinny fat. Okay. But if you lift and you do our programs, especially, but if you lift and you follow the plan and you trust the process and what we're telling you, you will lose weight by default, but you're losing body fat is what's happening, and you will curve out and you will naturally look like you are wearing Spanx. That is toned, okay? It is not getting so skinny that your muscles show directly to your skin because you've got, no nothing.
Yeah. PSA, you cannot have an hourglass figure if you do not have an ass or hips.
That part.
Not possible. You can
if you're not eating, you cannot get that. And if you're cardioing your brains out, you cannot get that. And so many people will like come in and be like, well, I need help with like, I've got a booty goal or something like that. And it's like, yeah, bro, there's no way. You're not even taking in enough calories to do anything. There's no possible way. Like, I'm sorry, but you're going to have a pancake ass for the rest of your life. That's just what's going to happen. Like so you got to pick.
She's essentially explaining going from a refrigerator to a locker, right?
Yeah,
so
like a file cabinet.
For our audio only people,
There we go. That was perfect.
A refrigerator to a locker. So
there you go.
If you want to become the hourglass, that's going to take having the refrigerator, right, and either maintaining and or growing the upper portion to become wider, cinching in the middle portion to make it slimmer and more toned, and maintaining or growing the bottom position, right? You can't have an hourglass without having some size on the top and some size on the bottom. So you have to have shoulder muscles. You have to have back muscles. What I explain to a lot of my female clients especially is you're only going to get so small in your waist, right? Whether that's genetics, whether that's because of some prior resisting stuff that you have going on, hormones, this and that, your waist can only get so small. But if you have broader shoulders, not man shoulders, not linebacker shoulder pad shoulders, but if you have some width to your shoulders and some width to your back, guess what? Your waist looks smaller in comparison. Like all these bodybuilder guys or these big guys you see online doing lat spreads and this and that. It's cool for your back to be that big, but it's to create the illusion that the rest of you is smaller, right? That's a big thing with anything in fitness, but especially bodybuilding or aesthetic based things, is it's all an illusion, right? So there's plenty of people that both look good that are completely different sizes, but because their waist is smaller than their hips and their waist is smaller than their back and shoulders, they can still have the hourglass figure at different heights, different weights, different body types, right?
And even if you don't have the body type that supports like the straight up hourglass, like I'm still talking like
you can give yourself shape.
Like, like a Spanx mentality. I don't care who you are, what shape you are. When you pull that up and everything gets sucked in and it's like, oh, damn, that is what weightlifting does. That is true toning. And again, you say that word, it's very triggering to most, fitness professionals because it's like, there's no freaking such thing. Well, let's make it a thing. Like it can be a thing, but it's not what women typically think it is. And then the other thing I was going to piggyback off too is the idea of bone density. So this is such a huge, huge thing because, okay, we talked about the aesthetics, right? But let's shift over to like the quality of life thing because I'm telling you guys, when you're in your 20s and even your 30s and even, you know, a good part of your 40s, there is like, you're just in that vanity stage, right? It's like, this is, and again, it's different for everybody. There's nuance in that, but there's a little more vanity in everything that you're doing when it comes to like the physical stuff. But there will be a day and a time that like that switch flips and you are like, damn it, I just want to live well. I don't want to hurt all the time. I want to sleep well. I want to be able to bend down and pick shit up. I want to be able to get in and out of the car. I want to be able to, you know, I was at volleyball practice yesterday and getting on top of the box and being able to jump off, and not everybody's able to do that. And like, those are just like, I want to be able to do that for the foreseeable future and not have an issue with that. So it becomes like a quality of life thing. The thing about weightlifting, especially for women, and we've talked about this before, but women from day one are just taught to be smaller and cardio and eat less and all the things. And so it's not surprising that we are the ones that deal with the most bone issues after a certain age. So the stats on this are something stupid like 1 out of every 2 women, I think it's after 50 years old, and I'll have to fact check this, but it is 1 out of every 2 will get some type of significant bone fracture.
Or osteoporosis or
That is 50%. And to take it a step further, you can look this up, is certain bone fractures in anybody over the age of 50.
Like lead to death.
Femurs, especially, your longevity, I mean, slashed by 1/4 to 1/3 to 1/2 in some situations, depending on the bone that it is. And that's insanity. And so women being 50% of us are going to have some kind of major fracture after age 50. If you've ever broken a bone as a kid, that's a pain in the ass, right? If you've ever broken a bone as a middle-aged person, you're like, that sucked, that hurt. I probably can feel the weather in it for the rest of my life. Imagine fracturing your femur,
your hip,
or your spine or your back over 50 years old. It, like, the thought of that is absolutely wild. So the fact that not every single fitness professional person on this planet, doctor is not screaming from the rooftops that people should be lifting weights consistently over everything, over every pill that's diagnosed, over everything. Like, it should be, are you lifting weights?
Yeah.
Are you lifting
for your
weights?
Mental health and any physical problems.
Yes.
You're pre-diabetic, you're this, you have signs of heart disease, you have, pre-whatever. Are you working out, right? Because if you're depressed, anxious, stressed, and you're not working out, try that for 3 weeks. And if you still need medication or therapy, then come back. But for a lot of people, it's simply lack of movement, right? Lack of natural happy hormone production.
Totally. Lifting weights is the fountain of youth. It's the fountain of youth, because I don't care if you have no wrinkles, have no sunspots, have no signs of life, be the skinniest person on the entire planet with the most perfect body porcelain skin. But when your ass is laid up in bed with a fractured femur at 55 years old, I can promise you, you would give back all of that to have strength and to have mobility and to have movement and to have that kind of quality of life. Absolutely promise you. So
absolutely. And so you just kind of went into what the next topic was going to be, which was just eliminating the pain that you currently have and limiting your risk of injury in the future. So if you do have back pain, knee pain, whatever it is, just lifting. I can't tell you how many clients I've had say, my knees just don't hurt anymore. Or, I don't get out of bed and my hips are so tight anymore. Or I don't get out of the car after a 3-hour ride and have to,
that's big. That's real.
Peel myself up from being stiff in the car, right? So just giving yourself that freedom to just go and do and not have to think so hard about what you're doing. That's a big deal for a lot of people too.
It is.
If you have to think about can I do this, or is it worth doing this? To me, that just takes a lot of the fun out of it, right?
Agreed.
That makes it just super stressful.
Agreed. The amount of barriers that we already have to living life
Right.
and having fun and being happy and all the things is already really significant. And so anything that we can do as a species to change that, we should be doing. Okay. So, and again, the exercise part of it, it just, a lot of times it takes really teasing out the vanity part. Like if you can do anything from like what we're talking about today is if you only think about fitness and exercise as a vanity thing, it's because of the pants I want to wear. It's because of the bikini. It's because I don't want to like whatever. It's if you can tease that out of it and just think about quality of life and whatever that's going to look like, it will make it so much easier because what a lot of people don't realize is those vanity goals are not sustaining you doing this. It doesn't mean enough to you. You think it does, but it doesn't mean enough. And at the end of the day, that's probably a good thing is you're actually a little bit deeper of a human being than you think you are. And it's important for other reasons. So find a different why, find a better why. We had a great
I was going to say, if you haven't checked out one of our more recent episodes featuring our member Kate, she went super in depth about having a why that's spiritual and rooted in community and in service, right? So just having something that you are striving to do that's not just have a six pack or wear that sophomore year of college dress really, really goes a long way.
Totally. 18 years old and talking about she's already thinking about wanting to be able to throw her grandbabies around and pick them up and move them and stuff. And again, that's real thinking because it goes by in a flash. And then all of a sudden you're there and you're the grandparent and you're like, oh my God, why didn't I pay more attention to this? Like, why didn't I? I mean, it's one of my things with my mom. I literally forced her hand on this. I was like, if you want to travel, if you want to like do all these things, you have to be in the gym 2 times a week.
Right.
Non-negotiable. And it has absolutely changed her life. That woman is moving furniture. She is climbing in and out of the attic. And she's getting ready to be 71 years old next week.
Yeah.
And she is so independent and doing all the things. And half the time I have to tell her, I'm going to help you. It's not like I have to force her because she is just so capable and she's so strong. And it helps me sleep at night. It's incredible, but it'll be here before you know it. So paying attention to that now. And again, I think a lot of times that helps with the actual why and getting into the nitty gritty of I'm not going to quit this because I do want to have a long quality of life. If the vanity goals are not keeping you just keep getting on and falling off and getting on and falling off. You need to look at your why for sure.
And talking about some of those anti-vanity goals, just like improving on both your balance and your flexibility, those also go into that, eliminating risk injury, right? The amount of people that just get weak in their legs, their quads, their ankles, their feet, whatever it is as they age, that's the reason they're falling. It's not just that they get tripped up over something, but they just slightly get off balance because of weakness in their body and they have no chance to recover, right? Or you bend over to lift something up and you throw your back out, you pull a hamstring, whatever it is, because you haven't been stretching, you haven't been moving your body, you're going to lose all that flexibility, right? Like the amount of people in their 40s and 50s that can't sit into a deep squat is very concerning. In other countries, a deep squat is a resting position, right?
Absolutely.
For us, people look at you crazy if you can squat ass to grass and you're not a kid anymore. Yeah. They're like, God, look at his mobility. What's wrong with him? It's like an ass to grass squat should not be that impressive. Like we have differences in anatomy. We have differences in ligaments, things like that. Our bones connect differently. Not everyone is going to be able to squat just the same. But if squatting below parallel gives you issues, you need to work on that, right? That means getting up out of a chair is going to give you issues soon. That means getting up off the toilet is going to give you issues soon, right? So just maintaining the balance and the flexibility to have a good life that's a huge deal.
Absolutely. There's not much like clock this because you will never, ever catch me agreeing with these crazy men, mostly on YouTube, these, liver eating, butthole sunning, guys.
If you're not butthole sunning,
there's not many there's not many I'll get on board with. But there is a lot of truth to some of the stuff that they talk about with that is like, you think about in our country especially, and how we've created so much stuff that makes everything easier. Like our bed size, our beds come right to where we need them to. So you just like flop into bed. Our chairs are so ergonomic. You can lift it up, so you barely have to even drop into that. You barely have to do anything to get out of it. The cars, we make our cars so they have the little thing that comes out now. So you step onto that to get into the car. The car seat moves to exactly how we want it to be. Like, you think about this country.
Yeah, you're not adjusting or adapting to anything anymore. It's adapting to you.
And it's all like, it's sold in the name of ergonomics, but at the end of the day, we are 100% adapting to that. And you're exactly right. We are creating, a system around us that is just making us less mobile in the name of health.
And
so
weaker.
It's almost, And so you think about these other countries and you're right. They are in a squat, cooking, sitting around together. When they go to bed, most of the time their beds are low, very low to the ground or on the ground.
Applesauce at dinner or gatherings.
All the time. And so then they've got to get up out of that position. They've got to get down into that position all the way up into their 80s and 90s. And so that is something to think about. It is something to think about when it comes to the mobility piece. Is sometimes you don't even realize that it's not happening because it's just the world we live in. It's so normal anymore. And so you're going to have to do something outside of that to really help keep your mobility on point, because the world that we're living in is not going to help you with that at all.
Because even more than strength, your mobility and flexibility is a use it or lose it situation.
Absolutely.
Like, if you stop working out, you slowly lose muscle mass and you have atrophy over time. But the moment you stop squatting, your squat starts getting worse and your depth starts going away.
Absolutely.
The moment you stop running, you start getting worse at running. The moment you stop stretching 3 times a week or nightly or whatever it is, your hamstrings, your back, they start to tighten because you've been doing something to help them and then you stop. So it's a use it or lose it situation. Even if you have some knee pain in a deep squat, it's better to have a little bit of knee pain or discomfort in a deep squat than never be able to squat again.
Absolutely.
Right? To be able to work through, I tell a lot of my clients, it's like knocking the rust off, right? If you come in and you haven't moved that way in 10, 15 years, you're probably going to feel a click. It's probably going to, scrape a little bit or pop a little bit. Let's check in a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Is it less painful, less poppy, less creaky? That means we're doing the right thing, right? Is it the same as it was or even worse? Then you might have an injury that we need to go get checked out. But having knee pain after not squatting in 10, 15 years is normal, right?
Yeah. And you'd be surprised. A lot of the mobility stuff too will come from, you've got some random pain, in the, like, I'll give an example. Like, I got really bad, what was it called? Subcalcaneal bursitis or something, like bursitis in my heel, but it was like up behind my Achilles tendon. Worst thing ever. Thought forever it was like plantar fasciitis, like went through all these different protocols, tried to figure out what it was. But it's crazy because something like that can be caused by some type of weird tightness that you have somewhere else and you don't even connect the two. So I just kept treating that over and over and over again, but then it ended up being more of like a hamstring IT band situation. And so once I got that situated and got a really good, steroid also helped a lot. But then it was like, now I've never dealt with it again, because I know for me, it was like, make sure that you are keeping your hamstrings stretched and you're taking care of your IT band in the right way. It's the same thing if you've got like an anterior or a posterior tilt. And then that will start affecting things like hips.
Or your
and then
back
it'll start affecting, again, tight hamstrings can affect that. So all these different things are connected in all these wild ways, that because if you're not in this field and you're not thinking about it the way that we're supposed to, you're just thinking, oh, it's just something wrong with my foot. I just got to stay off my foot. And
like most people with knee pain or if you don't have a specific diagnosed knee injury and you have knee pain, it's a lot more likely that it's an ankle or hip problem. And your ankle turns out to the side and your knee stays straight, or your knee caves in a little bit and your foot turns out, and then you're just kind of grinding in opposite directions the whole day. So a lot of the time it's not, oh, my knee hurts because of my knee. Because if you haven't torn your ACL, done something to your meniscus, have severe wear and tear, your knee should not just hurt. You're most likely doing something biomechanically wrong.
And that is so important for you to go see somebody. If you're, go to physical therapy, come see us. If it's not like a straight up injury, we can 100% help you, like not necessarily like rehab it, but strengthen it, prehab it, make sure that you don't get an injury there. I'm also going to shout out right now, Melissa. We've got a member who, she owns Wholesome Healing here in town. Shout out Melissa. She does really incredible body work. Find somebody who can do that, because it's, she did a class for us. One of the examples that I just loved was she had us do work on our clavicle, and it instantly released and added mobility in everybody in there's necks, like just in general.
And like we did jaw work, and it did a similar thing.
It's just, it's incredible how all those different parts are connected, and you just are not thinking about it. But somebody like that who's a professional, this is what they do for a living, this is how their brain thinks, and they've got you doing all this really amazing stuff. It makes a huge difference. She did stuff with our wrists and our hands one day that led to so much pain relief in my shoulder. And it's just, again, she's amazing. So book an appointment with her, go see her. She can definitely help you. And then come see us if it's something that you feel like you're having pain. Again, it's not necessarily from like an injury, because that's probably more of a PT situation, but we can definitely help you strengthen, get some mobility back, and then prehab it so that it's not something that you're going to ever need rehab for because you hurt it in the future.
Absolutely. And then you've also just got specific skill improvement. So what weights can help with more than cardio is just skills you want to be great at later into life. Like if you want to make sure you can still, we've talked about it before, open jars, right? Or put things up on heavy shelves, or walk around with big, heavy grocery bags, or carry your own, cat food or dog food, or move potted plants. All of these things are possible through strength training, right? If you can still squat because you have the mobility to wrap your arms around your pot and stand up because you have the strength, then you don't ever need help, right? If you can just grab the dog food or cat food and throw it into your cart by yourself without having to think about it, without having to think about the tight hamstrings or the back that might slip out, right? That's what the goal should be. So
independence, baby.
And that's the opposite of these vanity goals, right? Like it's great to look good, but it's so much better to feel good, right?
Absolutely.
So much. Then that's wellness, right? Looking good is not feeling well, and vice versa. I feel like a lot of the time feeling well leads more to looking good than just focusing on looking good leads to feeling well.
That's right.
Right? So it's and it's really just about finding the balance. But that's specific skill improvement. That's something that's really, really big with weightlifting, because you can essentially train every muscle in your body. If you need stronger ankles, if you need to increase the strength in your foot to have a better arch, you can do exercises for that. So it's super, super specific and can really just cause a lot of benefits and solve a lot of problems.
Absolutely.
So just really knowing what you want out of weightlifting is a big deal. Having the specificity and the mind-muscle connection. And again, getting that professional. If you need a professional, because this stuff is, again, very nuanced. It's a lot, sometimes confusing, but even short term, a lot of times you can find somebody in the professional space who can help you for a short term, and then you can take it from there. But that is a huge investment. And again, I use the term independence, and I don't use that term lightly. I've worked in hospital systems. I've worked in medical systems, both in the physical and the mental health side of it. And independence is something that, I want to keep for me personally as long as humanly possible. I know you talked about this, Shemar, in one of the first podcasts. We talked about your history, and that's so important to you too. But it's like we all want to stay independent as long as humanly possible. And strength training is going to be one of the best possible ways to do that. But the strength, the mobility, the exercise in general, these things are the absolute game changers in order to help keep all of us functioning as the independent little snacks that we want to be. Right.
Okay.
And then the last thing is just also the mental health benefits. A lot of the same ones from cardio come here, cognitive function, less stress, less anxiety, but just a different type of discipline and confidence, right? So it's not the discipline of continuing to go for a long time at once, but it's the discipline of doing small things over time, right? So it helps you get that different type of discipline. And also the confidence piece, right?
Huge.
We talk about not having it be exclusively vanity, right? But if you start to see a little shoulder muscle, there's nothing wrong with being excited about that. If you
100%.
see your first bicep vein, or you start to feel how firm your muscles are in your legs, like, you should be excited about that, right? That shouldn't be why you're in the gym. But when you do what you should do to have less pain and to have a better life, and as a byproduct, you get a sexy physique, be happy about it, right?
Let's go.
That's fine. But you can't just come in with the vanity goals and still get the functional health on the other side.
Yes.
So that's...
The confidence piece is huge. I think that's one of my favorite things to watch our members.
And it trickles into so many aspects of life, right? If you learn that you can show up, and when I do show up, good things happen, why would you not just try that out other places, right? Like, in a lot of places, you show up once or twice, it doesn't go your way, maybe this isn't my thing. The gym, that just isn't true. So the gym, you have to show up 10, 20, a month, 2 months in a row, right? Like, you don't get to come once or twice and expect to see results. And that teaches you to have that patience and, you know, that resiliency in other parts of life.
Yeah. Amen.
Absolutely. That's a huge thing.
Huge, like the
Huge.
biggest.
Huge.
There's nothing. That's a period on that one. There's nothing to say.
The biggest.
Yep.
And then just want to talk about a couple common misconceptions as well, because we've talked about a lot of the positives of each one, but some of the common misconceptions, like cardio is for women and weights are for men, right?
Boo.
You know, just like we've kind of already mentioned, men have been told, get strong, get buff, get jacked. Women, you know, stay small, slim up, you know, go down a pant size if you can, whatever, right? But that's just not true. Men need cardio and women need weights. And there's many reasons for both. You see, on average, more heart disease and heart issues in men. Therefore, on average, we probably need more cardio than women, right? Women have an easier time carrying a higher level of body fat on average because of hormones and different things in their body. They need to lift weights to build muscle, to have better metabolism, to maintain the physique that they think they want.
Preach.
These things are not exclusive to gender, and they should not be thought about that way.
Yep. Absolutely preach. That's another just period. End of story.
Period.
End of story. So it's, again, I already talked about this probably ad nauseum earlier in other podcasts, but this whole idea of the gender situation and that being, you know, like the whole title of this thing, it being an or situation, you got to cut that or out. It is an and always. It is a slash always. Like all the things for every single person. And that's exactly why.
And the I should only be doing one mentality, like she's saying, it's not an or. That was the next, you know, misconception that people come in and I want to be a gym bro, or I want to be a cardio girly, or I want to, whatever it is, right? Like you can just be a fitness enthusiast. You don't have to be just a Pilates princess or just a bodybuilder bro. You can just be someone that is a movement enthusiast, right?
Amen.
You can just love to move and feel good, and that's okay.
Amen. And I think that's another thing, you know, that's a really good point. I think that's another thing that is kind of encouraged, and probably end up talking about this.
Pick your niche, right?
And it's like, it's almost like
Pick your box.
Yeah, it's almost like the MLM mindset, right?
Yeah.
And again, this is, I'm not trying to throw shade at anybody because I used to like have this mindset and a lot of stuff, but it's like when you sign up for something and it's like you've got to be so hardcore and believer in every single part of this, and that means you can't go outside of it. So I can't like a thing over here. I can't. When I took over the gym, that was a big thing with us in supplements, right? It was like, well, we want to carry a supplement brand in the gym, so I have to just pick one, and then I have to ride hard for every single product that they gave us, you know, and not go outside of that. And I hate that mindset. I very quickly was like, no, like I don't like their pre-workout, and I like this pre-workout. I don't like this, you know, one over here, but I do like this, or I really love theirs. So let's go hard on this one. And I think it's the same thing for, you know, I think you're so right in what you're saying is like break out of that box of you can be the Pilates princess, and then you can also come box and beat the shit out of something. And then you can also go, you know, kayaking and pickleball and, you know, do the freaking things where you flip around in the hoops and
the trampoline
yes,
class or whatever
you want to do, like whatever you want to do, literally. I think it's so important that people recognize that don't put yourself in a box on this. So I love that.
Don't be one of those people that demonize others for actually finding exercise that they enjoy.
Amen.
Right? Like I'll steadily see these, Instagram reels or posts, and it's, these like trampoline fitness spots or like
I literally was gonna
whatever
say the
it is,
same thing.
like these people that are like zooming on bungee cords, like, and it looks fun. Is it something I would do all the time?
Yeah.
Probably not. Is it the only fitness I would do? Probably not. But it's nothing wrong with trying something new, and it's always the top comment or the caption of white women doing anything but actually working out. And
Literally,
it's
literally.
What if they're having fun? What if her bouncing and burning calories this way to some Beyonce and some Cardi B is the only way that she's going to move twice a week?
Yes.
And then maybe
let her start there.
Right. And if she does that for 2 months and she loses some body fat and she gets a little stronger and she gets a little more confident, maybe she'll go to a regular gym. But being like, white women will do anything but don't get in the gym.
Totally. And it's wild because it's always a health professional who posts that.
Oh, yeah.
Like that is our job to invite people in. But again, I'm telling y'all, this is a deep, deep seated thing that fitness professionals are taught from day one is to shame the living crap out of people. And they think that that is the way to get people to change, is to make them feel like absolute crap about themselves. And it's wild. It is the exact opposite of what we're supposed to be doing. And but it's posts like that all the time. It never fails. It's from some fitness professional whose job it is to try to pull in as many people as humanly possible and try to change their life. But the second somebody attempts to do something, but it's not what they would do or it's not what they do at their gym, then they're talking absolute shit. It's crazy.
Why would you do that?
It's absolutely crazy. And it's like, that's
if you do CrossFit, if you go to these boutique fitness spots, right? Like you don't have to squat, bench, deadlift to get goals.
Yeah.
Can you do that? Of course.
Yes.
Should you do most of those movements in a way that's good for you? Yes. But do you have to heavy barbell squat, heavy barbell deadlift, whatever, to get the benefits? No. You can go do something that's more fun to you.
Yes.
You can do a group fitness class.
Yes.
You can do a beach boot camp, right? Like all of these things are still fitness.
And it's about living. And again, we say quality of life, you guys. It's not like lifting and doing cardio and these things. Again, there's nothing but science behind that. We are never going to speak on anything that is nothing but just pure science in here. And those are the main things that are going to move the lever as far as your longevity and your quality of life. Period. End of story. Okay. But the nuance in there is there's also this version of quality of life that is like, I have a friend who hates boxing, but she just kept trying to come in. She was like, Chris, I literally feel like every time I come box, I walk out feeling like I've been in a car accident. Like it just like jostles my brain. It hurts my body. And I was like, then girl, stop. Like go find something else. And she was like, no. I just feel like this is going to be the best thing. It's going to burn the most calories for me. And I was like, no. And now she is more of like a Zumba girly and doing that kind of stuff. And she loves it. And more importantly, she's been consistent for years. She goes to every single class. She does like the little, I forget what they're called, like the little pump fit classes or whatever. So she's lifting and so for her, it's a quality of life situation because doing boxing or lifting the heavier weights or whatever it was in that season was more stress on her body and her mind than anything else. So it's like, okay, go do that thing that makes you happy. And then eventually get into lifting some heavier weights because again, as we get older, the bone density thing is real. But like if you're getting your cardio from Zumba and you're walking the dog fast and whatever, then girl, you do you. Because it's way better than you doing nothing at all, which is, again, where most Americans especially fall, is either I've got to be doing the exact right thing and doing it 100 times a week, or I've got the fuck-its and I'm not doing anything. Yeah. And we want you to live on that spectrum somewhere else. Yeah.
And then not the last, but one of the main things I also see is the I'm too old or the it's too late argument, right?
Also boo.
If you think you're too old to go on walks or to start lifting weights, you're simply wrong, right? If you're 91, you should still be doing something. I have a 91-year-old lady that I train at the local retirement home that comes to my class every Monday, leaves my class to go to the little gym next door to walk on the treadmill and do some little weights. And she does that on Wednesday and Thursday. She walks all around the complex. She goes and see her husband who lives in a different area because he needs some extra care. But she's 91, right? And she'll come in and say, hey, my elbow was a little creaky after this. We'll adjust. Hey, we did the step ups. I was a little sore, maybe one less step, and we'll adjust. But she is 91 years old doing step ups, using dumbbells, getting on the treadmill, doing TRX like rows, pulling herself towards the door. She was, I really like these. You know, I feel strong when I do these. And she's looking at her muscles in the mirror, and she's 91, right? If you keep doing what you should, you can go for as long as you want to. Yeah. If you didn't keep doing what you should, you can start now, right? The best time to plant a tree was 25 years ago. The second best time is today. So just start. Just start.
Yep. I love that. Just start. Anytime, any place, anywhere. And again, this is where we call bullshit on the diet starts Monday mentality. Again, that's just a very heavy thing where it's like, okay, I've got to have all my things in order, and I've got to have this program ready to go, and I've got to have my calendar on the wall, and I've got to know exactly what I'm doing. I've got to have my stuff meal prepped. And if I don't have all of that stuff ready to go on Monday to start on Monday, then there's no point. Then again, we're back to the fuck it. And it's like, no, we could leave this podcast today and I'd be like, you know what? I'm going to go have something like really great for lunch that's going to fuel me for the rest of the day and keep me going. And then I'm going to go walk my dog this afternoon before it rains. And boom, you have started. You're doing it. And do that only for a week, maybe 2. And then you're like, oh, you know what? Maybe I could fill up a water bottle every single day and drink some water. Do that for another week. And then another week. And that's all you're doing is walking the dog 2 times a week and filling up the water bottle and, I don't know, having an egg for breakfast or whatever the situation is. And you do that for 5 weeks. And then on week 6, you switch out 2 lunches for a meal prep thing in town. And now over time, you have consistently made changes that are going to build habits, and you're doing them in, you know, in a time frame that feels good to you. It feels comfortable for you. It's sustainable for you. And then all of a sudden you're going to wake up one day and be like, wow, I don't even recognize where I was 12 weeks ago. And that is the whole sustainability thing. But you just start. You just start. And it can be the teeniest, tiniest little thing, seemingly little thing, but it's compounding, right? What was that book? Compound something? I forget what it's called. But that whole idea of compounding things is absolutely huge and a game changer.
And I mean, that's the main bulk of what we have to talk about today. You don't have to love both of cardio and weightlifting, but you do need to find a way to value and appreciate both, right? If you love one and don't love the other, that doesn't mean that you don't need to do it, right? Yeah. Find what you enjoy to do, find what makes you feel good. Look for a social aspect of it, right? If you hate running, but you would go run with your friend in a run club, try a run club. Or if you have a friend that runs all the time that you're jealous of, ask them to go for a walk with you. Hey, will you go for a walk with me and run 2 minutes every half mile? Or will you, whatever it is, right? Look for the social aspect. If you won't work out by yourself at home or go to a big gym where everyone locks into their headphones, come to a gym like Rebel where you're known by name, by not just the staff, but by the other members, because they look forward to seeing you, because most people are consistent to their time slot, to their trainers, to their group. You don't have to be, but people just kind of settle into their niche, right? You see your same 9 o'clock Monday crew and your same 6:30 Thursday crew, and if you're not there, they notice, right? So if you need a gym with a social aspect, look for something like that. It can be us, it can be something where you are, but you're not alone in this, fight for fitness. There's other people on the journey, whether they're at the same spot ahead of you, behind you, that doesn't matter. You can still link arms and do this with somebody else.
Truth.
Yeah. And I mean, that's really it, y'all. I hope y'all enjoyed this episode and got something out of it. Remember to do both cardio and lifting, not or lifting.
Both.
Looking right at you, the person that only does cardio. But We'll see y'all next time. I hope y'all really enjoyed this and took something away. Make sure that you're checking us out on Instagram, YouTube. We have a school, which is like a Patreon situation that you can subscribe to. We've got some great stuff going on there. Extra content, product reviews, information. Come check us out. Come see us in the gym, and we'll see you on the next episode.
Bye.
This is about to really hurt some people's feelings. So if you're a little sensitive, you might as well turn this joint off right now.